everyone. Welcome back to the Colcom Podcast. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Rose.
Okay. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at one of the topics that might be discussed at a Colcom. Are you ready?
Absolutely. Let's go.
What's our topic then today?
We are talking about books.
Okay. Well, let's just jump right into it. So, Rose, what's your favorite book and who's your favorite author?
Oh, gosh. I really actually like reading.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, you're going to carry this out.
Okay, so I love science fiction.
Okay.
I'll just put that right out. Hard sci-fi, soft sci-fi. My favorite writer, author for sure, is Clark.
Clark?
Yeah, are you familiar with Clark?
No.
I'm trying to remember his first name.
Which book is he most famous for?
Gosh, Moon is a Harsh Mistress is a different author.
Okay.
That's Rhineland. Clark did Rendezvous with Rama. That's my favorite one. It's if you're not into sci-fi, it's kind of obscure.
Okay.
But
Okay. So I guess like my favorite book I've never been like really a big reader. But one book that kind of like opened my eyes up to like mythology and getting into reading, and it's also one of my favorite authors. So there's American Gods by Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Neil Gaiman, I've read all his books too. Right now he's very popular because he was the author of on Netflix Sandman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like his storytelling as well as like he does a lot of research into different mythologies. And even and the American Gods, which is a book about it takes place in North America, and all the people that migrated into North America, they brought their religions, and their religions manifested into like actual physical gods too, and the gods had to interact with each other. There's
a season on Netflix, or
there's actually about 3 seasons of. They made that into a TV show as well. I think it was on Star Network.
Okay.
But yeah, I think they've gone up to 3 seasons. I've only watched the first season.
And.
It's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, like it has lots of great actors in it as well. Do you want to read number 2?
Sure. Are you a fast reader or a slow reader? Have you tried to read more quickly?
Ooh, okay. So personally, I'm not a bookworm like you, maybe. I'm a slow reader. I take my time. So usually when I do get into a book, it's maybe a chapter or 2 a day.
I'm actually also a slow reader.
Yeah.
I do love reading, but I like really getting into the words and having it almost like play through my head and like have that narration.
Right.
So like when I'm reading fast, I feel like I'm just skipping something.
So like, I'm a slow reader, and like I get really into the material and I read it slow just because I narrate it in my head, and I don't want to read it fast because I don't want the narration in my head to go too quickly.
Exactly. One of the books that I really had to read slow on was The Lord of the Rings.
Okay. Have
you read The Lord of the Rings?
I've read The Hobbit a lot, but I haven't actually read The Lord of the Rings movie.
It's a big jump, believe it or not, because The Hobbit was written for children.
Yeah.
And then The Lord of the Rings is just so deep in like the descriptive words, and really like you have to slow down and like enjoy the nature that he paints. It's not an easy read.
Okay. Let's do number 3. Do you prefer to read fiction or nonfiction? I think you talked about this a little bit, and why?
Definitely I go more towards nonfiction for sci-fi, fantasy, but I also really like self-help books.
Okay.
Just kind of getting that brain reset and trying to better myself. That's what I would read for nonfiction. Oh, wait, did I mix that up? Did I say nonfiction and then fiction?
Yeah.
I read primarily fiction, but then I'm reading nonfiction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Predominantly I just read fiction myself. I don't like reading other people's stories really. So why? So I like fiction more because it's these make-believe worlds. So I read fantasies. I'm not really a sci-fi nerd.
You should try it.
I'll watch sci-fi, but reading sci-fi,
You have to. So I actually got introduced through a class, believe it or not. There was a class at my community college that was talking and describing and explaining the differences between the different types of science fiction. And that's how I was able to learn to appreciate it.
Oh, okay.
So start with something simple and then work into something harder.
Right. Like my gateway into even like nonfiction was comic books. So so as a boy, I was a big comic book nerd. We have number 4.
Have you ever reread a book? Which, why, how many times?
Okay. Ooh, good. So I've a lot of the. So right now, I actually play Dungeons and Dragons. So I have actually like a series, like the Forgotten Realms series book. So I have the Underdark series.
Okay.
And actually the God series, the Fallen God series, and I'm currently rereading the Fallen God, like the Waterdeep. So it's about. And I read those when I was a teenager, when I was first getting into Dungeons and Dragons, to get to know the game realm, the fantasy realm very well. And now I'm rereading them just to revisit that.
Oh my gosh, you're speaking my language now. Like, I never got into the history and the mythology of the different realms, but I love role-playing.
Yeah.
Getting into the universe.
Yeah. So it's and right now in theaters, there's the Dungeons and Dragons movie. That realm is basically those books that I read.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Definitely, I've reread a book, the one I mentioned before.
Yeah.
Rendezvous with Rama.
Okay. How many times have you reread it?
3.
Oh, wow.
3, yeah. I just love the journey that it takes you on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Number 5. What was the last book you read? Who was it by, and what was it about?
I've just been jumping between different kind of self-help books. Number 1, I think, would be The Power of Now. Have you heard of it?
No.
Why the author is escaping my name. I got his picture in my head, but he's very famous in the self-help world to say that get your mind out of the past, get your mind out of the future. The only thing you control is now.
Right.
Yeah.
The last book I read, I think actually I have a few books that I've started and then put down. Like back I was reading like the Twilight series.
Oh, really?
And I got to like the 4th book and I couldn't get past the 2nd chapter because it was just like the mind of a teenage girl. And I was just like this. I'm like, oh, I can't do it. It's too bad.
So why did you challenge yourself to read Twilight?
Well, the movies were out in the first one, and it's it's that fantasy and like vampires and werewolves. So they're the author, the name escapes me as well, was like building this like elaborate world. But then the last book was like, now she's like, well, I'm graduating. And like she was fighting for the love and all that stuff. And it was just too teenage girl mindset. And I could not finish it.
Yeah. Stephanie Meyer. That's that one's coming to mind.
So I think actually the Santi Boys were by Neil Gaiman. So it's it's actually a spin-off of The American Gods, too.
Okay. Yeah. Where is the best place to read books? How long can you read in one sitting?
For me, reading, I just sit in my bed and read.
I would say similar. Yeah, just finding a comfortable place. Is it? Yeah, my bed. I don't really have a reading chair as much as that. That's a dream. Yeah. To have a reading chair by the window with the sunlight coming in. But we ain't got space. So. Yeah. So and it's more a time of day. Like I usually just, when I'm reading a book, I commit only like 1 hour, and it's usually the last hour before I go to bed. Yeah. Usually before bed too for me. Yep. Do you want to read number 7? What are the advantages and disadvantages of reading on an e-device, such as a Kindle or an iPad? I was very anti-reading device for a long time. I just love the physical, tactile sensation, and even the smell. I love the smell of like old books. Oh. But I'm trying is the key word here. I'm trying to become more minimalist, and I look at my bookshelf and I realize I have so many books. Oh. So the benefit of an e-reading device is it's portable. You can have it anywhere, and you minimize space.
I don't have an e-reading device. Well, I have a tablet, but I don't have any books downloaded onto it. No, I'm all about like physical book, because the advantage of that, the smell, the holding it, it's tactile, but as well as if you really enjoy it, you can share it with your friends. So I like that element of books.
Very true.
While an ebook, you purchase it, and you can't really share. You can't gift it to someone after you're finished.
Yeah, because like when you read something, you're like, oh, I love this so much. I want you to love it. I want to share it. That's very true.
Yeah. Well, ebooks, they do actually cut down on, forestation, but books, there's just something about having a physical book.
I agree. Yeah. Ugh, it's tough.
Let's read number 8. The printing industry has struggled in recent years because of the internet. Do you think paper, newspapers,